Deck, Deck, Goose. Deck, Deck, Goose. Do you hate it when people do that?
No, actually, even after all these years, it's still refreshing and fun to do. If you're not having fun at work, what's the point, right?
It's so true. We are here in the beautiful town of Port Dover, and I'm being joined by Ken Looker with Deck Deck Goose. And we chat a lot. You come on the show a lot. You guys do a lot of stuff. I mean, we've been with you for, name the things.
Deck refinishing, fence refinishing, kitchen cabinet painting, full kitchen renovations.
Full kitchen, like it was like a remodel, but not like it was like a refacing kind of?
Yeah, we were able to take all old elements out and bring in new elements.
Yeah.
And be able to work with what was there. But so you're able to get a new kitchen, but you're able to do it on a much more viable budget.
Is there anything that you don't do?
Oh, people have asked me that question, and there's not much really.
Yeah,
you know?
that's awesome
We do exterior painting, interior painting, kitchens, basements, bathrooms, wood decks, composite decks, fence building,
everything.
You name it, yeah.
Will you mow my lawn?
You know what, if you got a good mower, I'll do it.
That's awesome. Okay, well, we are here in beautiful Port Dover because Ken and his team have just finished work on this composite deck. Now, when people think of composite deck, they may not know what you're talking about. So what is it exactly? So
composite is a man-made material, usually made through recycled fibers.
Okay.
What you're looking at is the advantage to it being that it's something that is virtually maintenance-free. Mm-hmm. So unlike, say, wood, which you can be refinishing every 2 to 5 years, depending on your weather conditions, with composite, it's virtually maintenance-free.
Okay, so all you have to do is install it and leave it forever.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones I often tell people, you know, you might have to rip the Band-Aid off the first time, but after it's done, you'll be so happy you did it.
Because it's more expensive.
It is more expensive. I'm not going to lie about that, but you have to start asking, what is your time worth?
Totally. And what's your budget worth in the long run when you really think about it? Because if you're staining your deck every 2 to 3 years and having to fix maintenance and replace boards, that could be expensive too.
The first large composite job I ever did was a customer said you'd be coming in here every 3 to 5 years for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And they realized they would have a composite deck for less than what they'd be paying me to restain it every 3 to 5 years.
Well, then yeah, it makes sense. And the fact that you can get it two-tones, like you can get all sorts of different colors?
It comes, this is a company, True North Enviroboard we used. It's out of Brantford, so it's Canadian made.
Nice,
I love that aspect of it. Locally sourced, comes in approximately 15 different colors. I like this because a lot of the color options give you like a veining to it, so it doesn't look plasticky.
It doesn't look plastic at all.
You can see it's got the black veining through it, both through the gray and through the brown color.
Yeah.
It makes you have the feeling of wood.
Well, you wouldn't know it wasn't wood until you touched it, really.
Yeah, and one of the issues people say about composite, it looks very plasticky and it looks very fake. And this I really like because it has that feel to it being like real wood.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And you install it the same way you would a wood deck?
No, the framing is a little bit different with it. What you want to do is you want to put your joists on 12 inches on center. Conventionally for a wood deck you do 16 inches.
Okay.
The issue being with composite, because it's approximately 40% heavier, what you want to be able to do is have a stronger base underneath it.
Okay, I see. That makes sense if it's a heavier product.
Yes.
Okay, well we have so much more coming up. We're going to be talking about the different types of siding that you can get, from aluminum to glass to wood, the budget-friendly options, all of that coming up on Morning Live, so make sure you stay with us. We are back with Ken and Tim, and Tim is putting together some boards on a composite deck frame.
Yeah. Yes, he's showing how the install works with the composite deck. Right now he's pre-drilling and countersinking the holes. What we'll do is we'll install screws into it.
Okay.
But so you don't have unsightly screws sticking out, we'll be putting plugs over top of them.
Oh, nice.
So you get a smooth, seamless finish on the top of it.
Oh, that's perfect, because you never want those little bits sticking out.
I've seen people just putting screws right in the composite, and I feel like I need to turn my nose up and say, oh, stop, you savage, stop.
How dare you? Now, when you hire someone, or even when you try to do it yourself, it's different than framing a wood deck.
It is. The first thing is you want the joist to be at 12 inches on center instead of 16 inch.
Okay.
Traditional carpentry, 16 inches on center is fine. The additional weight of the composite, plus the fact that it can have an ability to warp in the heat, unlike the way wood does, you want to keep your joists closer together. I saw a deck that was done years ago when it first came out. We went out there to take it apart, and the deck looked like Cecil the Sea Serpent. It just was woo, 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 right? And
Cecil the sea serpent, I love
the
it.
second problem on that exact same deck was, as you can see, there's blue waterproof tape on top of the joist.
I was just about to ask, what's with the tape?
Okay, so the composite doesn't absorb water, and what happens is if you don't put the tape on it, the water that gets trapped underneath the composite will be stuck inside the wood.
Oh,
It can't evaporate, it can't go anywhere because it's against the non-porous surface, and what happens, it'll cause the wood to rot.
I see.
I was doing the Cecil the Sea Serpent deck, and the customer was a very big guy, bigger than me. I'm a decent sized guy, and he was a big guy. And his wife even kept saying to him, there's nothing wrong with the deck. Him and I stood out at the same time, and he saw that I looked like a scared deer in the headlights. And he goes, I'm right, I told her this isn't safe. And I said, this is so unsafe, we should get off it now. We pulled it up, and the joists, I literally was able to break them in half with my bare hands. They were so rotted.
Oh my gosh.
It had been 15 years of water going in there and just absorbing into the wood and rotting.
Well, because it's not something that you think about, especially if you have composite on top. You can't see the damage coming up.
You don't think of it, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know any better, what do? Okay, well, I just know it's a piece of wood, or it's composite, it goes down, I've done my framing.
Yeah, no, you have not.
I've dealt with carpenters, very experienced guys, and they've never dealt with this, and unfortunately, you have to stay up to date with what's going on.
Yeah, of course. You need to hire someone who knows what they're doing.
A mechanic who can tell me he knows how to fix the greatest carburetor car in the world isn't much use nowadays in the day of fuel injectors. And a carpenter who has no experience with composite, 30 years of wood doesn't help when putting the composite down.
Right. Okay. Well, the maintenance is virtually maintenance-free. We will discuss more about that and the railings, all the choices that you have with building beautiful decks just like this. Okay, now we're showcasing some of the different types of, I want to call it siding, but it's railing, right?
It's railings.
So there's lots to choose from. Like, you know, your decisions are endless when it comes to what kind of deck you want.
Yes. When it comes to your railings, primarily if you're going, we're going to work from the top end downwards, okay? As you can see up here, it's tempered glass. That is your most expensive option here. Okay, it's beautiful, does take more maintenance, you know, because you got to keep them clean.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the birds can make a mess of them.
Real quick.
But they do look absolutely beautiful. We've used them several times. We've actually used them with wood decks and wood porches at different times.
Okay.
But I just love the way they look with the composite.
Yeah, they look beautiful. It's like really clean lines.
It does. This is an older cottage, but it updates the look of it.
Yeah.
You have these sharp, nice glass panels to it.
Modernizes it a bit.
You get that reflection of, you know, I love the way it looks when the water just reflects off it. It just feels so soothing and relaxing out here. The second option is just going with the aluminum railings on their own.
These ones?
Again, these things, fantastic in the regard that they're maintenance-free.
Yeah.
Very easy for an experienced tradesman to be able to put together.
Do they rust?
No, they're aluminum, so they won't rust.
Okay.
And
do they chip?
Well, you know, if you decide you really wanted to hit it with like a bat or something, I'm sure you can get it to chip. However,
dent?
It could dent. However, under normal residential use, if it's not in a frat house at Western, it should be okay.
Hey, did you know that I went to Western?
No, I did not.
Oh, I thought you were throwing it out there as a dig.
Yeah, but I heard that was an omelet. And the last option, and this goes along with the composite, sometimes we have to do, customers are looking for something. We just did one in North Burlington, and the customer, 2 young kids, third one on the way.
Yeah.
Their deck was not safe in any way, shape, or form, and it was going to be too much work to do it. So what we did is we came up with the idea that we could go with like a more economy composite.
Okay.
It doesn't have the features to it where it's got like the heat reduction to it.
Yeah, because this one has the heat reduction.
This one does. The one you're standing on doesn't. However, it's about half the price.
Oh, you can tell.
Yeah, but they needed something that was going to be safe for the kids to play on.
Yeah, for sure.
With something like that, we could go with wood railings. So you are going to have some maintenance work with it.
I like the wood, though.
And the thing is, though, we can paint them.
Yeah.
I can paint them black. I can stain them. Whatever you want to do with it, we can finish them.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a fraction of the price of what you'd be spending on aluminum.
Yeah.
So you're not in a situation that, oh no, I'm stuck because I've spent all my money on the deck itself. You can go ahead with different options. They're going to work out really well for you.
And especially if it's not like your forever home.
You know, it's one of those ones, though, if it's painting and it's something you're going to work with, you know, you can get up there every 5 years and get a paintbrush on it.
It's true. It's so true. Get the kids to do it, right? They've got 3 of them.
Exactly, you know.
All right, we've got so much more coming up, so much information to learn about the composite deck versus the wood deck and all the different types of railings you can have. More from Deck Deck Goose coming up on Morning Live. Back in beautiful Port Dover, showing off the skills and the trades work of Ken Looker with Deck Deck Goose. This deck, you guys have just finished this. How long did this take?
This deck actually took several months.
Yeah.
We had to deal with a lot of mitigating factors here. We had to replace actually a structural beam that was holding up the back end of the cottage. The entire staircase there had to be removed and rebuilt.
Wow.
And we cut custom stringers to be able to account for that.
Wow.
Approximately 80% of the deck surface you see here and the wood down by the water had to be reframed.
So you did all that wood down by the water
Everything
too?
down by the water.
Oh, wow. So you have, I mean, some people aren't skilled with working near water.
No, nobody fell in, so I'm assuming we didn't do too badly with that.
But it's true, though. You have to hire, like if you're working on your cottage or if you want something that's on a waterfront property, you want to hire the right person, right?
And that's the thing. Like I find, especially in cottage country, my in-laws have a cottage up in Tobermory.
Nice.
And the contractors up there, they work on island time and they get there when they feel like it. And some of the quality of work up there just makes me shake my head.
Yeah.
We're happy to travel to cottage country.
Amazing.
I've been up in Wasaga Beach painting kitchen cabinets. We're out here in Port Dover.
Yeah.
You know, wherever the work is, we'll travel to go do it.
That's awesome. Now, if I was to pick a deck and I gave you a certain budget, I mean, what's the difference in cost when it comes to a composite heat-resistant deck versus a composite non-heat resistant deck versus a wood deck?
So you're looking, if you were going from wood to something that was like a non-heat resistant, like a value composite with wood railings, it'd be approximately 2.5 to 3 times the cost of wood.
Okay.
If you go from wood to something that's premium, it's approximately 5 times the cost of it. Depending if you wanted to upgrade to glass railings, that would increase the cost significantly. The glass is the most expensive aspect of it.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because if you do the math and you think long term, because if you're doing something for your cottage it's going to be there for generations to come, it's usually worth the investment right up front.
Well, you don't want to come to the cottage to stain it, refinish it, have to replace boards. You want to come enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I know the customers here, it's great for them. They get a hose out, they wash it down, and then they're ready to enjoy the cottage.
Maintenance free.
And it's just beautiful for them. I know the clients well. And 20 years of restaining every year, replacing boards.
Ugh.
And finally they just tore the Band-Aid off and said, let's just do it, let's do it right, and let's have what we want for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, it's perfect. Now, if people want to get in touch with you, you do consultation, you'll come out, you'll check it out, you'll see what they can offer or what you can offer them?
Yep, I offer free, no obligation quotes.
Okay.
I'll happily come out and see you. You can reach us at info@deck-deck-goose.ca or by phone at 905-536-6189. And the website is deck-deck-goose.ca.
Okay, and you can get all the information of all the other stuff that Ken does there too, like the painting and the siding and all the bathrooms and kitchen refinishing and all that kind of stuff. He does it all. You're like jack of all trades kind of guy.
Yeah, some things I'm a master of, though.
Dex is one of them, hence the name. Deck Deck Goose. Thanks for having us, Ken.
Thanks. See you again, Emily.
It's always a pleasure. All right, we'll have all the information on our website as well at chch.com.